Discharged from hospital with chest pains, this Calgary man died less than an hour later.
Really frustrated, angry, anxiety, traumatized, everything kind of emotions at the same time.
His devastated family is demanding answers. Plus a big spike at the pumps.
Yeah, it's a big pain for everyone, because everyone is suffering.
A nearly 35 cent a liter jump in some places, and it may surge again. And nearly 100 charges laid after a string of community mailbox break-ins.
Your bank cards, passports and bills, all that is information that's valuable.
How you can protect your mail and your identity.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Another death is raising concerns about care in Alberta's strained healthcare system. A Calgary man working in Brooks earlier this month went to a local hospital complaining of chest pain. He was treated, prescribed medication and discharged. But less than 30 minutes later, he was dead. Now his family wants answers. Tyson Fedor reports.
61-year-old Feng Nguyen was working construction in Brooks on April 18th, but early into his shift, he started to feel a pain in his chest.
I got a phone call from his boss saying that he's having a severe chest pain, and then his co-worker already transported him to the emergency Brooks Health Center.
His niece Nguyen set off for Brooks from Calgary to make sure her uncle was okay. Nguyen's family says he had previous heart conditions and stomach problems. A doctor in Brooks prescribed pantoprazole magnesium, a medicine to treat acid-related stomach problems, and sent him home. But in the car on the way back to Calgary, Nguyen continued to complain about chest pain. He took his last breath less than 30 minutes after leaving the hospital.
All the doctors and nurses would have listened more carefully, understand what's the patient's symptoms, diagnosis more better, even make me more angrier because of the heart's problems. And then the stomach pain is just two different kind of things.
The family filed a complaint with Alberta Health Services and now wants to see change.
Hoping that another family member don't face with the same situation like this.
In a statement to CTV, AHS called it a tragic outcome, and our thoughts are with this patient's family and loved ones. It also says we take situations like this very seriously. Nguyen leaves behind a wife and 2 young children, including his 12-year-old son, Henry.
I was in full grief. I miss my dad so much because he was actually a really kind guy and a good role model. So I was actually crying for a few days.
Henry is only left to remember his father through pictures on his phone and wondering about his father's last words.
He mostly always comes to me in the morning and says good morning, and then always hugs me. And
despite life-saving efforts from his niece and eventually emergency services, Nguyen was dead and transferred to nearby Bassano.
It's really frustrated, angry, anxiety, traumatized, everything kind of emotions at the same time.
His family says the medical examiner determined that his death was due to heart failure.
And Tyson joins us now. So Tyson, what else are you hearing from the province about this case?
Well, Tara, AHS does say it will be reviewing this case along with the care that was provided and any clinical decisions that were made. AHS plans to look at any opportunities to improve patient safety and general outcomes, but would not comment any further on this specific case due to patient privacy. Now, this comes just 5 months after an Edmonton man was in an Edmonton hospital waiting room complaining of chest pains and later died there. The province did open an extensive review into that case as well. Tara?
Okay, Tyson, thank you. Gas prices around the city rose sharply overnight, in some cases by nearly 40 cents a litre. According to Gas Buddy, one station was selling for over $1.90. This comes as much of the world's oil is still impacted by conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. Tyler Barrow has more.
Pain at the gas pump as fuel prices soared overnight. Karen Singh just paid more than $175 to fill up his truck.
It's very hard for us to pay for the gas prices.
Pain felt by all filling up the tank.
Affordable before for me, but nowadays it's very, very high.
Prices in the city range between $1.57 a litre and $1.90 per litre. Most stations were selling at $1.85 per litre.
That is a huge gap, and so it really reflects the volatility that's happening right now.
The former CEO of the Alberta Petroleum Marketing Commission points to a tight supply caused by the war in Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
when you have reduced supply in markets that are close together, they are all reacting in a hurry right now because the pressure on supply is so intense.
Refineries are also struggling to get the necessary oil supply needed to optimize refined products. Even if the conflict in the Middle East is soon resolved, it will be some time before consumers see a return to prices of a few months ago.
When it was thought that this might be a temporary phenomenon, I think a lot of businesses ate it rather than pass it on to their customers.
As some have already adjusted their attitudes with the rise in prices.
I can't control it. It's the way it is. If it costs $8 or $10 more, if you have to make changes somewhere else, you make changes somewhere else.
Tyler joins us now. Tyler, we know Ottawa introduced a temporary gas tax break last week, saving drivers 10 cents a litre. Is there any update on the province's fuel tax relief program?
Tara, help from the province is something we won't see for at least 2 months, and we will only see it if West Texas Intermediate oil is above $90 a barrel for the review period running from May 18th to June 15th. That would activate the fuel tax relief program, saving Albertans 9 cents a litre, which would be helpful. As the gas expert I spoke with says, there's a good chance we start to see $2 a litre gas in the near future. Tara?
Yikes. Okay, Tyler, thank you. Fire destroyed a garage and several vehicles in northeast Calgary this afternoon. When firefighters arrived on Greenview Drive, they found thick black smoke coming from a detached garage behind a home. They searched the adjacent house and everyone got out safely. EMS assessed one person on scene for injuries, but they did not transport anyone to hospital. While attacking the blaze, firefighters heard some popping noises, possibly coming from magnesium.
When we go to extinguish a fire, we use water and foam by default. So when our crews knocked down that main portion of the fire, they did identify some areas that were more water reactive, so they switched to using fire extinguishers to put out those remaining fires, which are more typically metals that are used like in vehicles.
The cause of that fire remains under investigation. Tears flowed in court as family and friends of a 9-year-old girl killed in a Boxing Day crash spoke at a sentencing hearing. A Calgary man pleaded guilty to causing that deadly crash. Here's Alicia Fieldberg.
Family gave tearful accounts of Victoria Desjardins, a bright, funny child with a strong moral compass, at the sentencing hearing for the man who pleaded guilty to the crash that killed the 9-year-old girl.
Nothing is going to bring her back. No amount of time is ever going to be enough, but we are hoping that the justice prevails.
Dwayne Napus admitted to dangerous driving causing death, dangerous driving causing bodily harm, robbery, and fleeing a police officer in the Boxing Day 2024 crash. Body camera footage played in court shows the chaotic scene after Napus robbed a pharmacy, then stole a minivan and was speeding when he ran a red light, causing the crash that killed Victoria and injured 7 others, including her older sister and mother. Court received 13 victims' impact statements, with some read out loud from loved ones, including grandparents and young cousins. Her mother saying, "There's still so much pain." Her sister saying, "Losing my best friend was the hardest thing I could imagine." Another date needs to be set to finish the sentencing hearing.
That reopens wounds. It's prolonging the grieving process. It's prolonging the healing process.
Court heard a psychiatric report describes Napus as a high risk to violently offend again. The prosecutor saying this indicates Napus is like a bomb waiting to go off. The Crown wants Napus to get 9.5 to 10.5 years in jail and a lifetime driving ban. The defense and Napus will get a chance to speak when the sentencing hearing resumes. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
That case will be back in court in May to pick a new date to resume the sentencing hearing. Police have laid new charges connected to the weapon used in the shooting death of Madison Cobb. Cobb was shot in a parking garage last July. 2 days later, Devin Malik was charged with first-degree murder. The firearm used in Cobb's death had a defaced serial number, and after months of investigation, a search warrant was executed in Shaganappi. Several rifles, shotguns, and air guns were seized, and 44-year-old Kesh Cameron was arrested. Police allege Cameron trafficked the weapon that Malik used to kill Madison.
If there's anybody with any information as to how that transaction occurred, please contact the police or Crime Stoppers. We would love to be able to learn exactly how that transaction, who, if anybody else was involved in that firearms trafficking, we'd like to hear from them. Police
are also looking for a handgun registered to Cameron that is still missing. Payouts have been approved in a class action lawsuit by more than 50 former students at John Ware Junior High School. The students allege abuse by 2 former teachers. Michael Gregory was charged in 2021 with sexual assault and sexual exploitation, but he later took his own life. Fred Archer worked at the school in the 1990s and was later convicted of abusing boys at a different school. Payments range from $24,000 to $422,000 each. The payments are determined on the amount and severity of abuse suffered. A total of $15.8 million must be paid by the Calgary Board of Education and a smaller amount from Gregory's estate. Thieves targeting community mailboxes in northeast Calgary are leaving dozens of people at risk of identity theft. Police say 2 men now face nearly 100 charges after a string of break-ins. As Mark Villani reports, residents say this is part of a growing problem.
Sumit Singh is checking his mail in Skyview Ranch, but there's just one issue. The locks were changed after thieves broke in last week.
We were in a shock, actually. My wife's credit card was in the mail, so we were kind of really in distress.
The Hawks police helicopter responded in the early hours of April 21st for reports of mailboxes being broken into along Skyview Point Heath and Skyview Point Green. And following a traffic stop,
they were apprehended, and as a result of our investigation, going through all the mail they had in their possession, we were able to lay the appropriate charges.
35-year-old Kulwinder Singh is facing several mail theft charges, including possession of break-in instruments and stolen credit cards. 27-year-old Jagrup Singh is charged with similar offenses, along with the possession of stolen identity documents. But this isn't a unique crime.
In District 5, we've had 37 different mailboxes reported since the start of the year.
Canada Post says you should check your mail daily or suspend service if you're away for a longer period. The corporation couldn't speak to what it's doing to prevent theft, but says we take these situations very seriously. Our security and investigation team works with local law enforcement authorities. We also maintain a comprehensive approach to monitoring, responding, and mitigating incidents.
I live in this neighborhood for like last 16 years. I've never seen something like that.
But some argue Canada Post needs to step up. Gurpreet Chima says his mailboxes in Martindale have been broken into twice in the last few months.
They need to have a better locking system so that it's not easy to break in. We need some kind of surveillance so that we can monitor who's coming in, who's going out.
And for some, it's already too late. This woman says her identity was stolen following a pair of Northeast Calgary mailbox break-ins. We're shielding her because she fears she could be targeted again.
I don't want them to come after me or something, especially in Northeast Calgary where there's been all sorts of weird things like extortion going on. How do you calculate the cost of the stress it causes us?
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Police encourage Calgarians who may witness suspicious activity to call them immediately and to report all mailbox thefts to Canada Post.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
There are some big leadership changes coming to City Hall. Calgary's top 2 unelected officials will be gone by the end of the year. The CAO will be leaving months ahead of his contract ending, and the COO is set to retire. Jordan Canigan has the details.
It's a major shakeup at Calgary City Hall.
New council, new priorities, new leadership.
The city's chief operating officer, Stuart Dalgleish, will retire in June, and the city has decided to part ways with its chief administrative officer. David Duckworth will leave in December.
We're seeking an experienced leader who can help us through this time of change. We have a new 4-year plan, a new 4-year budget, and we felt that if we were to make this change, that now would be the right time.
It's being called a mutual decision, but some councillors have been calling for accountability for months over the city's failing water system.
Well, I think we've heard a lot in these reports about culture change. And if you want culture to change, then it maybe has to start at the top.
Now, many councillors aren't speaking about the change, citing confidentiality. Those who are talking say it was time.
If we want to talk about the larger culture change and working with, what is said to be the largest change and switch up of council in Calgary history, I think somebody from the outside is what I would like to see.
Duckworth's departure coincides with the expected completion date of the Bearspaw feeder main replacement. He'll still oversee that project.
I do not feel like I was pushed out. Again, I think it would be reflective. I wouldn't be here today if I was being pushed out. I've agreed for a transition to carry through.
He'll leave 7 months ahead of his contract ending, but Duckworth will receive 16 months severance on a salary of $410,000 a year.
This is about us looking forward, and what is it that we as a council, starting today, how do we start to change the culture? How do we start moving in the direction we want to? And it's a very nice natural transition point.
Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
So the city will begin a search for a replacement CAO right away. If a new one is hired before December, Duckworth will still stay on and help with the transition. The city is planning an education-first approach instead of fines as Calgarians adjust to the new watering schedule approved by City Council just last night. The city's goal is to reduce water use by 20% by 2040. There will be a year-round lawn and landscape watering schedule. Even house numbers get to water on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Odd number homes can water Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. There are exemptions for watering of trees, food gardens, and newly planted landscapes. Well, you might like playing Super Mario Brothers games, but not as much as Sawyer May does.
Super Nintendo World. Oh!
The Make-A-Wish child made a wish, and now she's going to Super Nintendo World in Florida at Universal Studios. The Make-A-Wish Foundation helps sick kids like Sawyer May realize their dreams. She also got to ride a Mario Kart around the mall and got some pretty great swag. Sawyer May has some major surgery coming up this summer, and her mom says the wish will lift her spirits.
She's been through too much in her little life, and she still has more to go. And to see her be able to have these moments in her life, it means the world to me.
Lots of fun today. I love Make-A-Wish, and I want to do Make-A-Wish again.
You can learn more or make a donation at makeawish.ca. Well, it was a gorgeous day out there. Gina Martin's here now with a look at the evening ahead.
Yeah, a little breezy out there at the moment, but still a good amount of sunshine, as you can see behind me here, dispersed with the clouds out there. We're going to get some nice clearing overnight, but a great temperature right now at 14 degrees. Like I mentioned, just a little breezy out of the north this hour, and we see that on our radar satellite here. So that's pushing in some clouds. A little earlier in the afternoon, we saw some trace precipitation, but that's all starting to clear out. At around midnight tonight, we'll start to see that nice clear setup, which will allow sunshine in the morning and a mainly sunny afternoon, Tara, with a high of 21 degrees.
Thank you, Gina. Still to come, an increase in life insurance rates has one Alberta man confounded about what to do next. He's paid into the policy for more than 30 years, but now the cost has tripled. So when is it time to walk away? And a blast from the past for this Calgary senior, a wish come true to get back behind the wheel. Drivers have the green light to go faster on a portion of the QE2. The province is increasing the speed limit south of Leduc to 120 kilometers an hour. Tow truck operators say this will make their jobs even more dangerous. Nara Manisa reports.
The Alberta government is test driving a new speed limit.
That's why we are increasing the speed limit to 120 kilometers per hour as a pilot project on a section of Highway 2.
As of today, a 22-kilometer stretch of Highway 2 will see a 10-kilometer increase, starting south of the Leduc Government Vehicle Inspection Station.
Now, during the speed pilot, we'll closely monitor traffic flow, driver behavior, and safety outcomes, ensuring that decisions are grounded in real-world data.
The province says in a recent survey, nearly 70% of the 59,000 who responded were in favor of the higher speed limit.
Now, at the end of the day, this is all about respecting Albertans' time.
I don't agree with the government's reasoning that it's going to save time because it's going to cost lives.
This tow truck operator says many in his industry oppose the increase.
With the increase of the speed limit, it's just going to increase the danger level for any tow operators or anybody working roadside. We see near misses all the time.
Don Getzel believes drivers are already too distracted by cell phones and console touchscreens. He wants the province to hit the brakes on this pilot project.
I've seen way too many preventable collisions that I've attended personally where people are hurt, killed, or injured, and it's unfortunate. And I think if we just do a better job of driving, but I don't think the increase in speed is the solution.
The province recently implemented higher fines in an effort to crack down on dangerous driving. The pilot project is expected to last until the end of summer. Nair Manisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
It was certainly a blue sky day out there today, Gina. Just beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to crank that up as we get into Thursday and Friday. So if you thought today was good, just wait. You're going to see that 5-day forecast and be pretty happy with spring finally arriving, at least what our idea of spring is, which is sunshine, above seasonal temperatures, not overly windy. Today, a little windy when we look outside right now at some of these wind speeds. We're at around 20 to 30 kilometers an hour in the city from a northerly direction, which is usually bringing in some cooler air. But by the time, again, the back half of the work week comes around, we're really going to see those winds calm down and those temperatures increase even more. But look where we're at right now. 14 in the city, 15 in Lethbridge, Milk River, Medicine Hat. So a lot of areas in the mid to high teens right now in the south. More in the central part of the province, looking pretty good too. The capital region at 17 degrees, over in Edson, 18 right now. That warm up will really intensify tomorrow as we get a ridge of high pressure moving in. So our normal high for this time of year is about 14 degrees in the city. We're going to be happy with that 21 tomorrow, getting up to 22 in Brooks. And even the central parts of the province are really benefiting from this ridge of high pressure too. So it's one of those we're all in this together situations in a good way. We looked at the radar satellite earlier, pretty quiet, bigger picture showing some precipitation to the south of us, kind of riding along the south side of the jet stream, but it really doesn't mean much for us here in southern Alberta. We get a pretty clear start to Thursday morning there, some light cloud coverage on and off throughout the day for the rest of Thursday, and Friday is a pretty similar story. The more north you go around the central part of the province might encounter some more isolated showers, but nothing really substantial for the next couple of days here in our neck of the woods. Nice temperatures above seasonal for Thursday and Friday on our regional forecast here. It's on Saturday we see a little bit of a dip. And for us, that'll just mean we're going to return back to some normal temperatures, some cloud coverage and a little bit of rain. And you see that play out on your Action Furnace 5-day forecast here. That ridge of high pressure bringing sunshine and warmth for Thursday and Friday. Likely Friday night, we'll see more of those clouds start to move in, and that'll cool things off as we get into Saturday, again to seasonal. That's what we're talking about when it comes to a cool off, with some light showers in the morning, but then we bounce right back into some nice sunny conditions and above seasonal temperatures for Sunday and Monday.
A former Greyhound driver got a chance to relive his past and get back behind the wheel. Telmore Sartison drove Greyhound buses for 5 years in the 60s while he was going to university. National Motor Coach and Prominence Way Retirement Community partnered to give the 89-year-old another turn behind the wheel. Sartison says he didn't expect to drive a coach bus once again, and it brought back plenty of memories.
Each trip was an adventure in terms of people, but also you had special tours sometimes that were kind of neat. Or a trip from Regina to Edmonton overnight with a group of youth who were going to a convention.
Sartison says it took a little bit to get used to the touch of the steering, but after that, it was smooth sailing. Many people need it, many people want it, but not everyone can afford it. What it means for Canadians now that Ottawa has approved a generic brand of Ozempic. And later, an unexpected boost in Buffalo. U.S. fans help sing our anthem when the singer loses her mic. Skyrocketing insurance rates have left a Sundre man scrambling for a solution. 80-year-old Perry Vardis was shocked when his insurance company told him his rate is nearly tripling. Moses Waldo has more.
Perry Vardis has contributed to his Primerica life insurance policy for nearly 4 decades. The 80-year-old has seen his monthly payments increase over that time, but a letter from Primerica sent this month left Vardis in shock. From just over $600 a month for $250,000 in coverage.
To me, no fair. I think, in my opinion, a rip-off.
He was expecting peace of mind, and what he's lost is that peace of mind.
It wasn't until CTV began asking questions about the rate hike that Primerica Canada offered the senior the same rate, but for a smaller payout. In a statement, the company tells us their premiums remain fixed for an initial period, then renew at higher rates, outlined in their policy. With the help of Perry's son, the two worked to find another insurance provider at a better rate, but no luck.
At his age, they want to cover, and then if they do find it, it's going to be, the price is going to be so inflated to try to make their money back on the short end.
I pay all of those years, 35 years just about. All of a sudden, nothing.
Having your nest egg in just life insurance is something term life expert Glenn Cook has seen in the past and says putting funds into life insurance alone should be the last thing you do.
Always RRSPs and TFSAs first. Don't put money into a life insurance policy until those are maximized. Once those are maximized, call your life insurance broker.
Fortunately for Vardis, he has his son to make up for any shortfall.
I'm his son. He's taking care of me when I was growing up. It's my turn to take care of him, and I'm okay with that.
Moses Wildu, CTV News, Calgary.
RCMP say a peacock and peahen have been found safe after a truck containing the birds was stolen west of Edmonton. The birds are named Pete and Hilda. They were found Sunday in their crate right on Highway 16 near the town of Duffield. Police say people were taking care of them until they then saw social media coverage about the stolen birds and contacted RCMP before safely returning them to their owners. Mounties say the white stolen Ford F-350 with the BC plate is still missing. No arrests have been made. If you're one of the millions of Canadians who take GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic or Wegovy for diabetes and weight loss, Canada has just become the first G7 country to approve a low-cost generic version. CTV's Quebec Bureau Chief Jean-Véa Beauchemin looks at what that will mean for those who use the drug.
Months after Ozempic's patent expired, Health Canada has given a generic the go-ahead. And the approval of India's Dr. Reddy Laboratories copy has been applauded by many patients and advocates.
And there hasn't been a whole lot of options.
Obesity Canada's Eaton Patton says for him, semaglutides have been life-changing.
I had this voice in the back of my head always chirping at me, talking about with that uncontrollable food drive. And having a treatment that allows me to gain control has been very, very impactful.
Like Ozempic, says Health Canada, the generic injection is indicated for the once-weekly treatment of adults with type 2 diabetes. But around 3 million Canadian adults currently take medication like Ozempic for diabetes and obesity. Still, doctors say some patients who would benefit steer clear because of money. The drug costs about $228 a month. Health Canada says many generic medications are 45 to 90% cheaper than the brand versions. And that price could go down with more generics on the market. Health Canada is reviewing 8 other submissions. That could also reduce expenses for provincial and private drug plans deciding to cover the generic. Approval comes after an extensive review of the generic's chemical composition and effects, but does not require manufacturers to do long-term effect studies, for instance, on heart attacks and strokes.
Based on the assumption that if it looks the same, it has the same biochemical properties, it's chemically the same drug, it should have the same long-term effects.
Experts applaud accessibility, but also warn against minimizing potential side effects.
This is a drug. It's not a candy. It's not a supplement. It is a medication.
The generic dosage approved now is for the treatment of diabetes, but advocates are watching to see what other generics will come and what the impact will be on the costs. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
They are an elusive little bird. They never stick around for very long, but this guy had a hummingbird eating right out of his hand, literally. Our trending videos are next. Reptiles have begun to emerge from their dens as the warmer weather finally starts to set in around southern Alberta. Ryan, first diver who handles rattlesnake calls for the city of Lethbridge, says the snakes are soaking up the sunshine after a long winter. While mostly on the west side, he says rattlesnakes have started to migrate to the south side of the city in the coulees near the Lethbridge Country Club.
I pick up 100+ snakes every year, and of those, I might have only had, a couple, maybe a dozen repeats or something in there that snakes I'd seen before. So we've got a lot of snakes.
They're definitely important for things like rodent control and pest control because that's a big part of their diet. So I know that some people, have mixed feelings about snakes, but they do play a really important role in the ecosystem.
Ticks are also starting to emerge from their dormant period, so wear long pants if you're walking through tall grass and check your clothes frequently just in case any have tried to hitch a ride. All right, we're sticking with animals. We begin with what I think would be an incredible moment to experience feeding time with some feathered friends. Look at this tiny little hummingbird lands on this person's finger, coming in for a drink. This is a species known for wearing boots with the fur, and is aptly named the white-booted rackettail.
Oh my gosh,
How
I need
amazing.
this.
I love hummingbirds.
Me
This would
too.
be so amazing to get that close for that long, because they move so fast.
Yeah, that little sound they make too. Oh my goodness, so cute.
Amazing. Well, FIFA World Cup fanfare is ramping up, of course, and this year even your pets can get in on the action. So Adidas has launched a new collection of pet shirts ahead of the FIFA World Cup. So the lineup includes home shirts for Mexico, Colombia, Japan, and Argentina. The pet-sized shirts match what the national teams are going to be wearing on the field, so they can, cheer on their countries this summer. The collection will be available starting Friday in select stores and online.
Okay, but what about one for my cats? Do you think they make them small enough?
I don't. An extra small dog size. I mean, a Pomeranian's not going to be wearing a very big shirt.
That's
so
true.
That might work on
I
your
think
cat.
my one cat, Olive, might be bigger than that dog, so I'll have to look into that.
Well, an image of a seabird having a rough day is the People's Choice winner in the Nikon Comedy Wildlife Awards. These are good. So photographer Alison Tuck titled it, "Which Direction is My Nest?" She captured this shot during a windy day at the Bempton Cliffs in Yorkshire, England. That snagged the top award out of 41 submissions. The other entries include a squirrel having a bad hair day, a horn bull in a hurry. That's a good one. These awards have been around since 2015. The 2026 competition is underway now, and entries are being accepted right through June. That guy looks like he's trying to drown the other frog.
I was going to say, I need a little backstory on the frogs there, but those are so good.
Those are great. Well, if you enjoy Sylvan Lake in the summer, get ready to pay more to park there. Coming up, we'll have a reaction to a big hike in fees in the Central Alberta community.
Taking a look outside right now, beautiful shot here of a lot of blue sky, a little bit of clouds, but nothing ominous on the horizon there. It's a little breezy out there currently. We've been seeing wind speeds this hour between 20 to 30 kilometers an hour, but still very comfortable from a temperature standpoint. We're at 14 right now. That is normal for this time of year when it comes to highs, but we managed to get slightly above normal with 16 degrees earlier this afternoon. Now for the next 24 hours, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. We're going to get some clearing overnight, so that'll really cool things off. Right around midnight, we'll see those clearing conditions, and that'll drive us down to a low of 1. We'll pick things up in the morning with a lot of sunshine, nice 6-degree start to the day, and then we're seeing temperatures get back into the 20s in many areas, including here in the city, with a forecast high of 21. Here's a look at our wind speeds right now. On the surface, coming from a northwesterly direction, so it feels a little cold because it's coming from the north, but again, not really actually impacting temperatures too bad. And by tomorrow, those winds will calm down quite a bit. So you'll actually get to really enjoy the heat, the sunshine, temperatures in the 20s. I mean, talk about patio weather, gardening weather. It's going to be a really nice couple of days leading into the weekend to finally get out and do some yard work. Some scattered precipitation curling to the south of us into the states there. And that's being steered by the jet stream pattern right now. There's a look at the core jet right there. There's the warm side of it producing that precipitation. But we're going to get a nice ridge of high pressure throughout the weekend. A little bit of a blip on Saturday. You might see some cloudy conditions, and that'll drive our temperatures back towards seasonal. But you can see a pretty nice consistent trend of above seasonal temperatures, Tara.
Thank you, Gina. The family of a Calgary man who died after being discharged from a Brooks hospital is demanding answers. 61-year-old Fong Nguyen had chest pain and was released with stomach medication. He died less than 30 minutes later. Calgarians awoke to a price shock at the pumps today. Gas is as high as $1.90 at some stations as the conflict continues in the Middle East. And the Crown wants Dwayne Napus to serve about a decade in prison for killing a 9-year-old girl in a crash on McLeod Trail. More than a dozen emotional victim impact statements were read in court today. Some business owners in Sylvan Lake are angry about parking changes coming to the popular summer getaway. Parking fees will rise from $30 a day to $50, and 200 previously free parking spots will now require payment. The mayor voted against the increase, saying it's too high, but she does say more money is needed for extra services.
We've added additional enforcement officers. We've added park staff with additional equipment, so vacuum backpacks for that micro litter that's really tough to get to. And we will be adding some additional washrooms down on our lakefront.
This last upgrade cost millions of dollars for washrooms and revamping the parking down here. It's all got to come out of somebody's pocket.
Which is ours. The beach can definitely get messy in the summer if people are not mindful to pick up after themselves.
One restaurant owner worries that higher parking prices could impact business by deterring some visitors. The fee changes come into effect this Friday. As many analysts predicted, the Bank of Canada kept its benchmark interest rate steady today at 2.25%. Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem says the bank is waiting for more clarity on the war in Iran and the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. If the U.S. hits Canada with sharper trade restrictions, Macklem says the bank may need to cut the policy rate further to support economic growth. 4 of the biggest companies in the U.S. have reported earnings today. Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft all released results after the end of the trading day. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez.
These are the companies investing billions of dollars into artificial intelligence. Their earnings are an indication of whether those investments are paying off. Meta reported it is once again raising the amount it will spend on its AI build-out this year. The social media company projects it will spend between $125 and $145 billion U.S. It is paying more for components than its competitors since it's late to the AI race. Investors didn't like the news, sending the stock down in after-hours trading. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar not changed much. It's at 73.08. West Texas Intermediate up almost $7 to 106.88. Western Canadian Select up over $3 to 78.34. And the TSX lost 265 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
More Alberta businesses are getting funding from the provincial government for innovative technology projects. $41 million is going to 9 projects through the Industrial Transformation Challenge, run by Emissions Reduction Alberta. The projects include improving insulation manufacturing in Redcliffe, upgrading cement production in Exshaw, developing robotics-enabled construction manufacturing in Canmore, and smart grid deployment in Airdrie by Fortis.
This project really helps us build a digital foundation that we need to give Albertans what they need. It is an important first step towards unlocking the next set of grid capabilities that will benefit our customers, all Albertans.
Emissions are down, and Alberta companies are leading the way in developing smarter, more efficient technologies.
Applications for funding for the next fiscal year are being accepted until June 17th. Applicants are eligible for up to $10 million per project. Performers have been revealed for the Roundup Music Fest during Stampede Week. Billy Idol will be the headliner on night 1 at Prince's Island Park. That's Wednesday, July 8th. Also performing that night is David Lee Roth, formerly of Van Halen. On night 2, the headliners will be Foster the People. The snow has finally melted in Calgary, and many golfers are more than ready to hit the links. Our golf pro is ready to help. That's next.
Our home and native nature in love.
A very Canadian moment broke out in the stands in Buffalo ahead of the Sabres playoff game against Boston last night. The fans helped sing "O Canada" as the mic kept cutting out before the puck dropped for Game 5. The Buffalo Sabres are the only NHL team in the United States that consistently performs "O Canada" before every home game. It's been kind of a tough start to the golf season. The weather is not cooperating until now, but with summer days ahead, we thought it was the perfect time to start our golf tips. Here's Glenn and Scott.
Mackenzie Meadows Golf Tips with PGA Pro Scott Orban.
We're here at Mackenzie Meadows for the first golf tip of the year. Scott Orban, how you doing, buddy?
Really good. Just thought we'd start it indoors since April's been a little dicey, but we're in our indoor golf facility to get started. So we thought we'd talk about the grip.
Yep.
All right. So a lot of beginners out there, a lot of golfers wondering what their grip should look like. So what we've done is we've got a big mirror here, great teaching tool.
Yep.
And I want to show you how George Knudsen describes this a little bit in his book, The Natural Golf Swing. All right, and I think and I'm revisiting that, so I'm going to steal this from George or pass it on from George, not even stealing it. But get into your golf posture, I let my arms hang just in front of me so they have somewhere to swing. But what I look for is I'm looking at what do my hands look like when I start to bring them together, okay? So that you get a good view of this. You can see from the top-down view. I can see a couple knuckles on my left hand, couple on my right hand, but they're opposing each other. So what we see a lot of golfers do, they'll come in and their grip might be, putting the thumbs on the back side here, like I don't know what they're swinging, but you can see there's nothing natural about that.
Right.
So I think that's just a good way. And then what we do is we put you in front of a mirror. So I want you to try it, Glenn. Just stand in front of that mirror, and you go ahead and take your grip. Okay. You can kind of see what it looks like. And then what we do in our schools is we use grip clubs. So they're just going to force your hands into that position. So you go ahead and just hold that, and you can see a very similar position.
Totally.
To give you a feel.
Yeah.
And then you start swinging with that. Just two great teaching tools, the mirror and the grip club. Now you can marry that.
Go over here and just see how it feels.
Glenn's got a beautiful grip, so we had too much to work with. Not too much to fix here. Then make a good balanced swing, and away you go. But first things first, you got to get that grip somewhat in a natural position. But what is a natural position? We just showed you.
Well, next week on Golf Tips, Scott gives Glenn a tip on how to hit some of his new clubs. Those are always good tips. Very helpful, especially at the start of the season. And people want to get out there probably this week.
Yes, and finally they're looking at the forecast, those golfers, and are like, okay, I don't have a random snow event disrupting my tee time here. We've got a nice consistent stretch here of some really sunny, warm, above seasonal weather. I mean, come on, if the Pelicans are enjoying it, I think everybody else will be too. Susan capturing a fabulous picture here of these birds on the Bow River for your weather window, brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. And you can see in this shot here, the sun was out today, and it'll remain so heading into Thursday and Friday. Even helping us out when it comes to the temperatures, the winds will calm down, so you'll really start to feel that heat build. So 21 degrees on Thursday, up to 23 on Friday. Yeah, we get this little blip on Saturday, a bit of early morning showers and some clouds, but temperature is seasonal. It just looks off compared to all these great 20-degree highs that we're going to see. And that'll return once again, Tara, on Sunday and Monday. Not a lot to complain about for the next 5 days.
Can't beat it. Looks great. Thanks for your company tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow.